always know.
So we're getting a real German or Minnesotan O that then relaxes toward. It doesn't get all the way to open. I don't think it gets to a backwards C.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I'm Joey.
I'm Jared.
And this is the Voice Exploder. Pew, pew. Where what do we do?
We make explosions.
Where we just make explosion noises for more time than you want. And we also break down some of our favorite recordings. We listen to singers, and then we talk you through how we think about singing at BroadwayVox. So how we think about teaching it, how we think about explaining it to our friends and our enemies.
You know who you are.
My enemy.
Today we are breaking down How Glory Goes from Floyd Colins, sung by everyone's favorite,
Jeremy Jordan.
Jeremy Jordan. We're going to get right after it. Let's dive on in.
Do it.
Let's see what we get.
Are we everywhere? Are we anywheres at all? Do we hear a trumpet call us and we're by your side? Well,
So it's one of the reasons I wanted to use this tune, because we get to play with the variations of warmth and color when still talking about the same acoustic
Profile.
Yes, thank you. We talked about this before. We have kind of our pool of objective data. We want to understand laryngeal registration. That's mode 1 and mode 2. Those things are well defined. And then we have acoustic registration, open, closed, and loft. And that's kind of our pool of objective data that we're always sort of looking for. And then we get to talk about really cool things that we put on our semi-objective continuum, like dark to bright, or thick to thin, or breathy to clear. Points that are helpful for thinking about singing this way, help us describe different types of sounds, but aren't hard science.
It's where the artistry comes in and where like what makes somebody special. That's kind of how it shows up. That first sound, the will I want, it's clearly open mode 1, open chest. He just like pops into that pocket where it's warm.
It's this pocket here.
Yeah.
We call it bro belt.
Bro belt.
It's a color. Some singers we love for it. My man, Michael McDonald.
apology, anybody else would surely know.
Oh yeah, Rick Astley.
And also Whitney.
There's still enough time to figure out how to chase my blues away.
Whitney uses so much backspace to get all these warm colors.
Yeah.
And then also, we're going to put an asterisk, is like share.
Do you believe in life after love?
But it's share without the palette stuff. So if we're like, do you believe I hear all that backbass, but without the palette stuff? Yeah, back to Jeremy.
Will I want, will I wish for all the things I should have done? Longing to finish what I...
We get this little pairing of the longing, forget about... What
were those words?
What longing to finish
what I only just
what I
begun.
only just... So we get the longing, which has a lot of O shading to it, and then only, which has another bit of O shading to it. That O is still open, right? We call it acoustically open, but it has all this warmth and backspace to it. Because how we think about these things, and herein lies the lesson, bright isn't just associated with open and dark with closed. It can still be warm and open. And in fact, we need to have that flavor.
For me, warm and bright aren't really the two ends, because you can be super warm and super bright at the same time, because brightness, most people, what they're talking about is clarity of tone, and that's a vocal fold thing.
Yeah.
Right? And it's the way that efficient vocal folds interact with the shape that we're making.
Yeah.
What I only just begun, or has a shining truth been waiting there?
Should back that up one more time. Shout out to Mikey Stapes. I see those hands on the piano.
Longing to finish what I only just begun, or has a shining truth been waiting there?
It starts open and he closes as he decrescendos.
Yeah.
On a really bright vowel.
And there's like a hair of nasality in it.
Oh yeah.
And also they kind of speak in this dialect the whole show.
Yes.
And it is a little bit grounded to that Shannon that just kicks in a little baby nasality, and then we get like this different color. This is why we talk so much about this, so that you can play with options. It's just options.
Yeah.
The best way is the way that works for the singer. And he's found a way that works great, and their product is fantastic.
Waiting there for all the questions everywhere in a world of wondering.
Okay, I love that. World of wondering. So we get open world, closed of, closed one, open dren. That's what we're tracking.
In a world of wondering.
Yeah, we got it. Nailed this. He doesn't have to go open, close, closed, open.
You could do it all closed. World of wondering. That would totally work. You could do it all open. World of wondering. Those O's are just beautiful, and what we're listening for with as he's holding those O vowels, he's just like as he's crescendoing and decrescendoing, he's just like playing around with space and just mining for resonance.
How fun in this context.
Yeah. It's a cave.
He's caving.
Yeah.
What do cave people do? Do you think they call themselves cave people?
I don't think so.
Only one way to find out.
I don't have much of an appetite, thank you.
Chime in the comments, cave people. It's our sponsors that really keep the show going, so we'd always like to thank them.
Let me check and see.
That's fine. Yeah, just who's our sponsor today? Oh. It's still
Suddenly you know, and you will always know.
Woo, that one's fun.
So we're getting a real German or Minnesotan O that then relaxes toward. It doesn't get all the way to open. I don't think it gets to a backwards C.
And you will always know.
No, it sort of does.
Another example too, sometimes we hear this reverse when someone's singing a note where we hear kind of like open to close, especially as they add vibrato.
Yeah.
This is that opposite pattern where we have a slightly more phonetically closed version of that vowel that starts to open up.
Yeah.
It's also another great point, Jared. Thank you for bringing it up. That's why we separate out phonetics and acoustics.
Yeah.
In this example, everything's open timbre. The whole sequence is open timbre, but he opens the vowel slightly as he goes. So we start to get a different vowel because O phonetically is closed.
Yeah.
And that would be, if we only had that definition, we'd be talking about that as closed. And it's not as descriptive as it could be.
What's going on for him is he's just like finding pockets that feel really good. And that's the thing that like we try to emphasize with our singers is like, find the sounds that feel good and then follow them and play with them versus like doing what you think has to be right.
Always know. Will my mama be there waiting for me?
Woo.
We finally get mode 1, mode 2 examples. So now we get to have this moment of waiting for me. And it timbrely sounds like it lives in the same world. You know, it's not a huge disjunct moment, but it is a flip from mode 1 to mode 2.
Yeah. On our talkiness scale, so are we more vernacular in our shapes or more elevated in our shapes? It's staying in the same like semi-vernacular zone. So he keeps the same shapes that he's been doing before and he just flips on over to mode 2. So that's our other objective data point.
And you're going to hear a little bit more of that coming forward.
Will my mama be there waiting for me? Smiling like the way she does and holding out her arms and she
Let's just talk about that for a
calls me.
second. Because we get this really quiet smiling like the way she does. And sometimes if it's coming from me smiling, we might hear them as in the same lane, but we're getting the shift from mode 2 back down to mode 1.
Yeah.
And this is the fun interplay too, and it's why we talk about things this way, because you can make all sorts of different examples, you know? Mode 1 can be here, but it can also be here.
And he's looking for a similar intensity and just happens to be in mode 1
Yep.
rather than in mode 2. Because he could go, smiling like the way she does, actually in head voice, or smiling like the way she does in chest voice. And out in the world, they sound pretty close to the same.
So we get this little back and forth where we get a little flip. Now we're going to hear another one into my name, and then we turn up. So
Yeah.
listen for that little shift from mode 1 to mode 2 once we move into this next section.
And holding out her arms, and she calls my name. She will hold me just the same.
Good.
Don't worry about the acoustic registration of it right now.
Yep.
We're just going to go mode 1, mode 2. Let's go from when she calls my name.
When she calls my name.
So we
she
get
will-
chest, 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 head, head. When she calls, mode 1, mode 1, mode 1.
My name.
My
I
name.
like the way she does, and holding out her arms, and she calls my name.
Great. And she calls in chest. Then we get a very light my name in head voice,
Yep.
mode 2. And then we're going to get she will hold is going to be back in mode 1.
She will hold me just the same.
So we get she will hold me just
He almost doesn't even say the
There's-
word. It's
yeah.
just
It's just a yeah.
It's a pivot into.
Yeah, it's like using the consonant to just kind of like anchor right into the
If I were writing that out, I'd write TH apostrophe same.
yeah, the same. The
Yep.
same. Where we're getting like a little pitched v, but no vowel in between.
Yeah.
So she will hold me chest, all mode 1, just
And then
the same, which goes up into head. So now we turn up and we're ready to rip to the ending here. We're going to like
Yeah.
bring us home. We're going to stop before the yodel.
Only heaven knows how glory goes. What he
Another one of these 3 patterns where we have open, closed, open. We love to
Yep.
hear it. We get open hev, closed vin,
Vin.
open nose.
Yeah.
And we get that pattern kind of all the time because
Yeah.
of the arc of the melody works that way
Yeah.
too.
Well, and it's almost always unstressed syllables
Yeah.
going up.
was what each of us was meant to be.
Fun. Each of us was mint to be,
Mint to
where we get
be.
a nice closed mint. It's another great example of hearing what you would expect to be an open option. Meant would typically
And epsilon.
an epsilon.
a backwards 3.
We would do open but we pass through this mint. A lot of people do it, but we're starting to see Jeremy Jordan do this a lot.
Yeah.
This wasn't as much like Newsies Jeremy Jordan. This is
No.
like
Gatsby and
Floyd Collins.
Yeah.
JJ's using a lot more clothes. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Knows how glory goes. What each of us was meant to be.
I love the glory goes, but he doesn't do the diphthong the way you expect to hear it.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's just like chasing some resonance.
Yeah. And then we get another like big old kick backspace on in. He closes it, in often is, but we hear this kind of like little extra lift where we get kind of a little classical lift without
Yeah.
vibrato.
He does sometimes just like pop that larynx down a little bit.
In the starlight, that is what we are.
That's the really fun one.
Boda!
Like cup, and that's him singing R, and we're hearing it as R.
Because we get context clues, we know, like, he's been saying words, we kind of know where it's going, but then he goes, oh, and as vibrato comes in, gets a much
Yeah,
wider
it's-
shape.
And the crescendo from the more closed, still acoustically open,
Yep.
but we're more round to opening as he moves through the vowel. Really, really cool pattern.
I can see so far.
Very
Yeah,
fun.
so far.
Yeah, this is the signature,
Yeah.
right? The so and far are so warm and round, but they're still acoustically open. And if this is
Yeah.
the thing we can kind of like imprint, that open isn't necessarily bright
Yeah.
or more lateral. And
Mhm.
this is because of where it lives in his voice can have so much depth in it because it's not high for him.
No.
So he's going to track as much depth as he can to keep the kind of anchor that makes us feel kind of dramatically invested and intense.
And like it is anchored to the core of his speech. So when
Yeah.
he's speaking, he might get up there because he's excited, but if he's just delivering lines, it's going to be down here.
Yeah.
And he's able to carry some of that quality up versus not.
And if you want to do some mode
Yeah.
1, mode 2 practice, just go to the yodel section
Yeah.
at the end. That's the homework.
Because that's what people go to YouTube for.
Yeah.
is to get homework.
That's
your homework
You go for the homework and then you stay for the vibes. Let's get to our takeaways. What are we thinking about here?
So when we're thinking about building a voice to be able to have this flexibility, or experimenting with your own voice to have some of these colors available, I think thing one is just getting really comfy with stretching how high you can bring your open sounds.
Yeah.
And then after stretch is available to you, then go back down a little bit and start playing. Like start adding some rounder shapes to it. So start adding some of the O flavor. Like, what does it feel like for me to sing but have it be flavored by O, or sing A but have it be flavored by How does adding an objectively just rounder vowel as a like extra shade in your color palette, how does that impact your singing?
You know, there's a baseline coordination available there, right? We need to have access to resonant speech. We need to feel like we can clearly phonate throughout our middle voice and kind of speak through. And then we want to be able to coordinate open and close sounds and start to find some flexibility there. And then that's where we really get to do some play with color. The thing you want to think about is how to find these colors and what needs to be stable first, right? So it's just making sure, like in here, it's a combination of closed and open sounds. So I have flexible speech available to me that then opens up into a call, right? Can I do both of those things? Can I pass through on speech in a bunch of different ways? And then can I get into a call? And then once those are stable, can I start to play around with colors in between them? These
sounds aren't inherently loud. We hear them as loud because we're hearing them through a very well mastered recording.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're very acoustically present, but you're not actually like blasting and peeling the paint off the wall.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I didn't know when I was like in high school, I remember calling a belt a blast. Like they were blasting. And I remember my friend being like, "You mean belting?" And I was like, no. They're blasting. That's all we got.
That's a wrap.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks, Jer.
This is for you.